Greetings, and welcome back to the channel where we talk about everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines, and we also take you through some of the analysis. We talk about the fundamentals. We talk about the earnings, the profits, the income, all the revenue, and all that. All that's yet to come. Right now, let's just brief you on some of the headlines for today. Again, these are my notes. This is not a script, so welcome. A big one here, Nebius jumped up 14% after they inked that $27 billion infrastructure deal with Meta. We talked about that yesterday, that it was possible, that it was happening, and now it finally happened. Another one, Meta jumped up 3% on the report of a planned layoff to offset some of their spending. So they plan to lay off 20% of its 79,000 employees. And as you remember, Meta cut 11,000 jobs in 2022. So that's worth repeating. Meta, their stock is already climbing 3% on the report of planned layoffs that will offset AI spending. And the layoffs will be about 20% of their workforce, which is 79,000. Wow. Also, thought this was kind of fun. Peloton, this is an exercise company. Peloton is launching bikes and treadmills for gyms, accelerating commercial strategy. So again, we talk about more than just the top 7 stocks. We talk about more than just technology here. So Peloton is launching a series of bike and treadmills for high traffic gyms. And it's trying to push into the commercial fitness market. So in 2026 will be available in the US, Canada, and Germany and Austria. I just thought this was interesting because they're already in the Hyatt and the Hilton, and they have some very interesting bikes and treadmills. And so there's another stock that's worth taking a look at. That's Peloton. Also, my God, we cannot forget about oil. Right now, oil is making headlines for sure. Where is it? Oil price, yeah. Oil jumps over 3% as the doubts linger of a U.S.-backed plan to protect the Strait of Hormuz shipping. Yes, the Strait of Hormuz is still in jeopardy. Where's my NVDA? Hold on one second. Yes, right here. Even Mr. T is gonna delay his trip to China. So basically, oil advances 3% as Iran gets Persian Gulf energy infrastructure. As Iran targets Persian Gulf energy infrastructure, and Brent crude went up toward $105 a barrel, so that's coming up. And let's see, another one, NVIDIA. Oh, this is a good one too. NVIDIA is also, they made $1 trillion forecast. This is something worth noting. At their annual event, the annual conference, their CEO, Huang, unveiled some of the new products and predicted that its AI processors would generate $1 trillion in sales through 2027, and it would push deeper into CPUs, and it's developing chips for data centers in outer space. Yes, you heard that right, in outer space. So more of that to come. Also, we're going to talk about Apple right here, because, for example, Apple right now just acquired the video editing company called Motion VFX, hoping to boost some of its subscribers, okay, to work with Apple's Final Cut Pro. So they want Motion FX to work with Final Cut Pro editing suite. That will allow people to integrate Motion VFX's capabilities directly rather than rely on third-party extensions, okay? Some of those headlines and more to come. That's what we got going on. So let's take a deeper dive here, shall we? Let's look here at Nebius. Yes, right here. So Nebius signs this deal. Nebius jumps 14%. Let me show you that. Where is that? Nebius. Let me get that up here on TradingView. Okay, here's Nebius. This is the 1 minute chart. Let me adjust some of the timings here for you. Right here. And okay. Hold on one second. There we go. Bring this up now. Adjust this back. Okay. Here is the 1 minute chart on Nebius. And then here's the 1 day chart on Nebius. Okay. So again, they jumped up 14% after inking the $27 billion deal. Where is that? Right here. Look behind me. Deal with Meta. They emerged as a leading European, Nebius is emerging as a leading European player in the AI cloud computing space. Its share price has jumped up 400% since its listing in New York in 2024. Again, 400% since its listing in 2024. Wow. All right. So again, if you're just jumping in, this is the educational channel where we're talking about everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines, and we make it fun and interesting. Lucas, welcome back. Good to have you. Thanks for the likes. Thank everyone for all their likes and shares and comments. If you have a ticker, let me know. I'm glad to go through it. Right now we're looking at Nebius, okay? So here's Nebius. Let me see if I can, boom. Oh yeah, here it is. You can see right here, bang. Look at this. It just jumped up. Let me see if I can show you this on the 1 minute chart. Let's see. Oh yeah, you can see it right here. Here we go. Bang! Look at this. Just jump straight up. This is the 1 minute chart. Yes, right there. Okay. Now let's go over here to the 1 day chart. Let's see. Again, here here's the jump right there. And look, this is the RSI. We talked about this. We've talked about it many times, but for those of you just now joining, the relative strength index, for example, right here, if you see, if you look behind me, the arrow right here, that's the overbought zone, and this arrow here is the oversold zone. Okay, so this is just a guide, meaning when it gets above the 70, you're thinking maybe it could market correct and come down. Maybe not, but it's getting in that area. Down here, it could market correct and come back up. Maybe not, but that's kind of the area for it. That's why they called them the overbought and the oversold areas. Now let's look over here. Let's see. Let me show this to you. Right down here. Yeah, right over here. This is what I mean. You see right here. Look behind my shoulder. Here's once. Here's twice. Look at all these. See my arrows right here? This is what I mean when they get way overbought and they can stay there for a long time before they ever market correct and come down. So even though it's overbought or oversold, it doesn't mean that it won't stay there for a long time or that it won't market correct, you know? Okay, let's look up here, for example, Again, if you're looking, if you're new to the channel, just to quickly introduce you, the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence, we'll explain more later, but right now, just to put it in super simple terms, the blue line is your MACD line, and the orange line is your indicator line. So, to keep it super simple, the blue line, as it crosses the signal line going down, your chart pattern is going to go down. And as it crosses the signal line going up, just like it does right here, right there, the chart pattern is going to go up. Now, it's obviously a lot more complicated than that, but right now, for just super simple explanation, there's that. But yeah, that's also, you can see how right here where my cursor is, you see how it comes down right here. Up here, the chart pattern comes down, and then right here, it goes up against the signal line. Right here, the chart pattern goes up too. So that's the basic idea, but it's obviously more complicated than that. Let's take a look here at Nebius, since they just jumped up 14% after inking the deal with Meta. Here we go. Okay, give you a couple of chart patterns with this one. You can zoom in and out, and you'll see different patterns emerge. As I zoom in here, again, one of the quick ones that I see, here's your double top, and then bang, it comes down, and then let's see. Give you a different one here. Again, let me adjust some of these settings, and you'll see different patterns appear. For example, down here, if you look over here, here is you can see when you spread it out, you'll see different things emerge. Like here's one bottom, here's two bottoms. I'll put this over here where you can see it. Here's one, right there. There's one bottom, there's two bottoms. So it's basically a double bottom right there, and then bang, it jumps up. So there's your double bottom pattern. And then over here, it's hard to see on this one, but you can kind of see right here. Here's your reverse head, and then right here, here's a strange shoulder. This is kind of a diagonal neckline. So again, when you have your head and shoulders pattern, it's not always a straight shoulders. They can be kind of hunched over, angled and stuff. So here, this is what you call a diagonal neckline. And so head and shoulders, diagonal neckline, and you can see, bang, right there, it does break out past the neckline and go up, okay? So let's go on this. And here's another one. For example, if I zoom in on this, here is your the reverse head there, and then here's your. If I zoom out a little bit, here's your shoulder emerging. Here's your other shoulder. Notice when I zoom in, it looks different, but zoom out and you'll see the shoulder right there. So here's your neckline, and then there's your breakout pattern right there. So reverse head and shoulders, left, right, and then the breakout right there, okay? And let's see, yeah. Okay, for right now, for this chart, that's enough patterns. We'll get to more later on, but let me show you some more. Let's go over here to the, let me give you some of the fundamentals actually. Let me scroll down here, and here. As one thing I want you to notice again here, as right here, you see these bars right here, as there is more price action. See these bars right here. Here you have the jump up in trading volume action. So here's trading volume jumping up, and that's because you have more price action here on the price charts. Okay, so more trade volume happens with the more price action, basically. Okay. And then right now, so this is nebulous. The volume right now is 34.6, as you can see right behind me. If you're watching from home, this is on Trading View. We're looking at nebulous. So trade volume right behind me is at 34.66, and then market cap is at 32.68. Go here to the fundamentals, which is the earnings. Earnings, you'll see right behind me, there is quarterly and annually. Let me see if I can put this a little bit more. To where you can see it better. There, maybe right there. You can see a little bit right here. As you can see right behind me, the monitor, you see the blue part. The blue part is actually the earnings that was recorded, and the gray part is the earnings that was predicted. So what we're looking at here is Q4. You see how it's less negative than predicted. So even though it's negative, it's less negative than predicted. So that gives you a good earnings report. It's still negative, but it's a good earnings report. Same thing with Q3 and Q2. As you'll see, it's they're negative, but less negative than expected. So it's a good earnings report. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's great. It just means it beat the earnings report. Now let's look at annual. Annual. Again, why do you look at quarterly? Why do you look at annual? It depends on which one fits your strategy the best, which one's more important to you. Everybody's different. Generally, annually is better because it's more of a long-term thing. So annually, you can see right here, the reported was more negative than the actual forecast. So if it's more negative than the forecast, that's not good for the earnings report. Same thing here, super negative compared to the earnings report. The only year that was good for earnings was 2023 because they had a positive earnings report and they beat the Wall Street forecast. So again, let's see how that compares. Just because you have a good earnings report in 2023 doesn't mean you're going to have a good revenue or income or forecast revenue, income, or profit. That doesn't necessarily mean you'll have a good revenue, income, or profit for 2023. I'll show you what I mean. So click the annual button and you'll see for 2023, 2023, it was all red all the way down. My God. Your revenue, your profit, your income, and your net income, it was all red, all negative. And so surprisingly, the best year for profits was the worst year for revenue and income. Now, if you look back here to earnings, you'll see that 2024 and 2025 were both negative for earnings, right? But come here to the statements report, and actually 2024, if you look behind me, 2024's total revenue was very positive, very green, and so was their gross profit. 2025's total revenue was green, and so again, you want to look at all pieces of data because they're all integrated and correlated. Now, some people enjoy looking at the forecast. I particularly do not much, but if it's something you enjoy, there it is. I think it's, I use it mainly for entertainment purposes. I don't think there's a lot of validity in it, but if you like it, if you think it's interesting, there it is for you. Now let's go back here. That was Nebius. We can also check out Meta. Why? Because Meta, hold on, let me erase this here. Boom. Okay, Meta, where is it? Meta stock just climbed nearly 3% on the reports that it's planning for laying people off. So, okay, the headline. If you look at the headline, Meta stock just climbed after they plan to lay off 20%. That's 1/5. 1/5 of its workforce, which is 79,000 employees. 1/5 gone. 20% gone. Now, wow. So, for example, remember that Meta also laid off 11,000 jobs in 2022. Basically, they're cutting jobs to save money because of all their AI spending, all right? So one thing we can look at here is Meta. Here's the Meta 1 minute right here. And let me adjust the timing here. Okay, here's the timing adjusted. That's 1 minute. And then let's go over here to the Meta 1 day. If you're watching from home, this is on TradingView. I have the 1 minute chart and the 1 day chart so I can see the different patterns on both. Right here, and then, okay. So we can look at patterns on both. Here's the 1 day. Let's, again, if you're looking to, for example, what's the RSI doing? RSI right here is at 40 right here. See behind me, it's at 40. So it's still pretty neutral, and that's also why you see up here in the price chart a very neutral price chart here. Okay. Now, also I want to show you this. This is what we call basically continuation, consolidation. You have you see like right here in the RSI where it sits right there between basically 55 and 45. That up here in the chart, you're gonna see that neutral area here because it's not gonna move much. It's gonna stay right there. And see again, you see the invisible ceiling, you see the invisible floor. This is what we call the resistance and the support. It's basically just stays right there and doesn't go up or down. And that's what I want you to see, the correlation in the RSI, relative strength index here, okay? And so that's one chart pattern that you can take note of. Another one that I'm seeing right here jump out. Oh, here's a small one. It doesn't really do much, but here's your head, here's your left shoulder, here's your right shoulder, okay? Here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and here you can kind of see the neckline. Okay, so there's a neckline, and then it doesn't break out much. It just goes down a little bit from the neckline. So there's that. The same thing. There's some small head and shoulders here that don't do much. Here's one. Here's a double bottom. You note right here the double bottom, and bang, this one does break the neckline. It goes up. Now on a double bottom, you might be asking, where's the neckline on a double bottom? Well, good question. Right here, you see this point right there where it comes down and then comes up in the middle and then comes back down again. That part where where the 2 points meet in the middle right there, that's basically the neckline. And so right there, if you draw a line right there, that's where the neckline, where it goes up and breaks the neckline. So I hope that's interesting for you. I thought it was. And also here's your, if you want to see another more clear head and shoulders, here's your head right Here's your head right here, and then left shoulder, right shoulder. See on this one, you have your head, left shoulder, right shoulder. It's a little bit more clearly defined. Here's your neckline, and then as it right here it breaks out of that neckline just a little bit before it goes down to the double bottom and goes right back up. So that's, again, it goes up, it corrects, comes down, and then corrects and goes back up. But how does it correct? What are the patterns you see? So here you have the correction of the head and shoulders. Here you have the correction of the double bottom, okay? Just bear that in mind. And then here you go. Over here. Welcome to everyone who's joining to the chart where we talk about, or the channel where we talk about everything U.S. markets, U.S. headlines, and we make it fun, enjoyable, or we try to. And we're talking about some chart patterns right now. Let me see if I can find you any more interesting ones before we move on. Not so much. Oh, here's one that doesn't really break out that much, but you still see the right about here. Where is it? Here. Here's your reverse head. Here's your left side. Here's your right shoulder, and there's your neckline. Again, this one doesn't break out much, but just showing it to you there. And then as we go right over here, okay, right here. Again, I want you to notice how when there's more price action, when there's more price action, you have more trading volume, as you see in these trading volume bars right here. More price action, the trading volume goes up right there. And then right here, if you look at earnings report, the volume right now is at 15.13 million. Market cap is at 1.5 trillion. This is for Meta. And then right here, let's go to earnings. If you can see, let me put this right back in here. Right back behind me, you'll see that the quarterly earnings, Q4 of 2025, Q3. The blue part, again, is what was reported. The gray part is what was predicted. So Q4 beat the earnings report. Q3 really missed it. And then Q2 beat the earnings report. Again, it's not whether the numbers were good or bad necessarily. It's how did it compare against the forecast on Wall Street. So Q4's forecast on Wall Street, again, the earnings report actually beat the forecast. Now look at the annual part. Annual part is usually what more people are looking for. As 2025 for a year, 2025 as a year, the reported earnings beat the expectations. And 2024, the same thing. 2023, the same thing. So all three previous years beat the actual earnings report, beat the forecast. So that's the main thing to keep in mind there. So again, Meta had a good 3 years for the earnings report, especially when judged against the forecast. Now, how does it do with the profits, the earnings, and the revenue? Well, that's what we're going to look at. Again, just because the earnings look good doesn't mean the revenue or the profit will be good. So here we go, right here. Put that on annual, and then right here. Oh, this is actually cool because on this one for Meta, 2023, 2024, and 2025, all 3 years back behind me. Maybe you can't see very well, but for the revenue, the gross profit, operating income, pre-tax income, and net income, it was all positive in the green for all 3 years, except for the 2025 net income. That was negative, but otherwise it was all good. And that's Meta. Yeah, so there we go. The next one we want to take a look at here. Let me erase this stuff. Okay, the next one, Meta. We talked about Meta. Now we talked about Peloton. Oh, yes. Let's go to oil right now. My God. Yeah, oil jumps over 3% as doubts linger over the U.S.-backed plan to protect the Strait of Hormuz. Again, the oil advanced as Iran targets the Persian Gulf energy infrastructure. Basically, oil rose after its first decline in almost a week. Brent crude went up towards $105 a barrel. and operations were suspended actually in the Shah field in the UAE, while an Iraq oil field and key Emirati port were also targeted by Iran drones and missiles. And now the war is in its third week, and the UAE and Kuwait both reduced oil output more, and so Saudi and UAE are trying to bypass the Strait of Hormuz and try to find a different route somehow. But even here, there's an update. Mr. T will likely delay his trip to China because of this, to find new strategies to help with the war effort. So there's that. One thing I wanted to take a look here is to show you this right here. Let's go here to the 1-day chart for, where is it? Oil right here. Okay, this is the future chart for oil. And as you'll see right now, let me zoom in on this a little bit. Okay, here you are. Right now, U.S. oil is at 97. Yeah, right there. And again, looking at the futures, the RSI is sitting here at about, currently right now, it's at right there at 73. The RSI right there at 73. It had just gone up. As you can see, my other arrow, it had just gone up to 90 before it market corrected and came back down a little bit. Again, you can see that up here in the price chart as well. When it market corrects and comes down, that's also represented in the RSI. Okay, and then let's go over here. You can see this. Oh, here, look at this. I also want to show, here's the consolidation. Consolidation continuation right in here. You'll see this. See this right here, the RSI, consolidation continuation right here. That's also represented in the price chart right there. Okay. Now, if you're looking for a couple quick chart patterns, let me show you. Here we go. Oh, here's your double bottom. Bang, bang. Right here, double bottom. That's a big one. See, this comes right down and then goes up. And then right here, you can kind of see, this one's got an easy to see neckline. Right here, this is where they meet in the middle. Right there, if you can see my circle. And then another one that jumps out. Here's a nice one that really kind of forms pretty obviously. Here is, here's your head, and then right here, left side, right side. Here's your head, left side, right side. That's your head and shoulders. And you can see finally, bang, it does break out and go down, but it does take some time. Let me show you a couple other ones real fast if I can. Oh, here, right here. Here's your double bottom. Here's another double bottom for you, and then bang, it jumps out. Also, so this one has a lot of double tops and double bottoms, but it also has a few of these head and shoulders. And this is the 1-day chart, in case you're wondering where I'm at. And this is the oil futures, okay? And this looks like, oh yeah, you can kind of see this right here. Here's your head right here. And then right here, here's your left shoulder, right shoulder. Here's your neckline, head, left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline breakout. And then bang, you can see it drop down right there, right? Okay, here we go. And yeah, that's enough on this. You see some chart patterns, etc. Now that's futures. Let's check this one out. Let's go here to one of the big ones. Since we're talking about oil, let's go to Exxon. Let's see what Exxon is doing with this, because they're one of the big companies. Yes. I mean, it's been quite busy the last few weeks. Defeat Elites High Mate from Sydney, Australia. I bet it's been quite busy the last few weeks. Australian Reserve Bank raised interest rates to 4.1%. Defeat the Elites. Thank you for the comment. I appreciate that. Interesting to get the news. If you have any other news you want to share, let me know. But thanks for that. Yeah. Wow, that's quite a hike, actually. 4.1%. Can you tell me more about that? Why it happened, or is there anything else behind that story? Let me know. Okay, so here we are looking at Exxon now because we're talking about oil. Dun, dun, dun. Let me adjust the. Okay, here we go. And then, yes, as you can see right here, for example, the last several since about February 11th, right here, it's been doing some consolidation. Well, again, what is consolidation? You see how it goes. The peaks are the same and the bottoms are the same. So it's like an invisible ceiling, invisible floor right there. It goes up and down the same amount. And you see that kind of similarly right here in the RSI. Right here, the RSI goes up and down about the same amount there. And also, again, be aware how this RSI jumps up as high as, this was like 82 right there. And then finally market corrects and comes down. And look at this, ever since ever since about December 17th, it's been going up like a hockey stick right there. If you zoom out, if you zoom in, it looks pretty interesting like that. Okay, now, so here's Exxon, and there's your hockey stick chart right there. And then you're asking probably for some chart patterns. Here are okay, for example, here we go. Yes, right here. Here's a chart pattern for you. Here's the here's your reverse head, left shoulder, right shoulder. But again, there's no. Here's your head, left shoulder, but there's no breakout on this one, right? You can see that, okay? And then also, let me give you. Here is the same thing. Here's your reverse head, here's your left shoulder, here's your right shoulder. This one does what it's supposed to do actually. See here, there's the neckline, and then right here, here's the chart breakout. So reverse, left, right, chart breakout, and goes up. So that one does what it's supposed to. Reverse head and shoulders with a chart breakout, okay? And then over here, let's see, I want to find you one that has a good breakout on it. If you're watching from home, this is again Exxon on TradingView. Just to give you a couple quick chart patterns before we go to the earnings on this. And then if you zoom out, this one doesn't look so, but if you zoom in, look at it, zoom in and bang, there's your double bottom, okay? Again, zooming in and out makes a big difference. Right there, double bottom, and watch how this changes as I zoom out. It looks completely, different, right? But zoom in, and you've got a double bottom form right there. And then again, this is the neckline. It's easy to see. Here's your neckline right there, neckline, and then bang, it breaks your neckline right there and goes up. Okay. Yeah, okay. Now let's take a look here at some of the earnings part, okay? And I want you to see that right here, defeated so many nations juggling U.S. relations while trying to secure passage through the street. Exxon would have quite the volatile stock, right? Yeah, thanks, defeat elites. Yes, your comments, yeah, I share your same sentiment right now. That's why I'm taking a look at it, because we looked at the oil's futures chart, and now we're looking at Exxon. I'll also probably look at CVX, Chevron later on, but defeat elites. Right now, the stock, as you can see behind me, is not so volatile. It's just going straight up. It's not like going up and down. No, it's straight up. And actually, you can see here, it's been consolidating since about February 11th. You know, right now, what is this? March 16th. Yeah, so almost for a month, it's been consolidating. You can see the chart behind me. But ever since about, what is this, December 16th, it's been going up like a hockey stick. Yeah, glad you like that. Very interesting. Yeah, yes, volatile might not be the right word, but busy might be a better adjective. Yes, exactly. I appreciate it. Yeah, if there's a ticker that you want me to look up, let me know. That's kind of what I'm here for. This is an educational channel, not a sales channel. But let me try to keep it interesting and fun. Here's also one, since you asked, Let's do CVX at the same time. CVX, since you may be curious, is it going to be volatile or just busy? Okay, here's the 1 day for Chevron also. As you can see right here, since about December 17th, it also, since December 17th, bang, it goes up. Yeah, almost just like Exxon, but unlike Exxon, you see it's just keep going. If you look at the chart behind me, it just there's no consolidation right now. It just keep going up, and you can see right here, the trade volume on Chevron. There's a lot more. Look at this trade volume because the price just keeps going up and up. The volume also continues to just fly up. So right now it's sitting there at about 196. And it's still, the RSI is right there at about 70, and it's still just going. So, yeah, I'm just showing you the information, and then you can kind of make your own judgments from it. Yeah, so that's Chevron. Let's go now to, the earnings. So, earnings here, volume is at 12.68 million, market cap is at 392 billion for Chevron. If you're wondering what I'm looking at, that's the information right back here on TradingView where I get that. Now let's go to the earnings part. Earnings, you have the quarterly and you have the yearly, and this is the quarterly part. Remember, the blue bar is the actual reported earnings, and the gray bar is the expected earnings. And just because the earnings don't meet the expectations doesn't mean it was necessarily bad. It just means it didn't meet what Wall Street put out. And just because you have a good earnings report doesn't mean you have good revenue or good profit. So, but having said that, if you look at all those quarters right here, Q4, Q3, and Q2, they all beat the earnings expectations for the quarterly. Annually, now annually 2025, as you can see, did beat expectations. 2024 just barely missed expectations, and then 2023 just barely missed them as well. So you can summarize and say the last 3 years they missed the earnings expectations, except for 2025 where they beat the earnings expectations. Now here's what we can do. So this is very educational in the sense that my instinct is so tuned to optics, media opine all negative, but we are here. But the market must train the brain. I'm very defeat elites. Interesting comment. When I say educational, I just mean simply, hey, I'm here to share some of the headlines. I'm here to share some of the stories, and I'm also here to share some of the companies that are related to those stories. And I take notes on this stuff, copious amounts of time every day. And I'm just there are some other stories that I share that are outside the headlines that are also interesting. I try to make it, I try to have variety, interesting topics, so it's not just a waste of your time, and you can get more than just the FANG stocks. You can get more than just the stories about Google or Facebook or something. I try to keep it all interesting. Yeah. My sense of oil price not good, but here. Oh, okay. Your sense of oil price may not be good. I got you. Okay, now I understand. Cool. Well, hey, I appreciate the insights, and glad you're enjoying the channel. So, welcome. And for anyone else who's watching, I hope you're enjoying it. Again, looking at the earnings, just because the earnings are one way doesn't mean the profits or the revenues are going to be the same way. So having said that, let's take a look here at the profits and the revenue. Yeah. Okay, here's the interesting part. You see how this is 2023, 2024, and 2025 behind me. If you look at the earnings, you'll notice that 2023 and 2024 just missed it, and 2025 had a good earnings report, especially compared to the expectations. But if you go here to the financials, the revenue, the profit, 2025 had terrible revenue and profit and income. So again, just because the earnings say one thing doesn't mean that doesn't necessarily go to show with the profit and revenue. So here you are. You have revenue, profit, income, and net income. It's all negative for the last 3 years The 12-day. Okay, actually, I saw that in the headlines. It according to the headlines, according to what is it, CNBC or something, the war is in its third week. So the 12-day war, according to the headlines, is approaching the third week now. So yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, so there's that. Now if we go back here to Exxon, and right here to Exxon. Let me show you this. So here's the chart, okay? But let me take you down here to some of the earnings on Exxon. So the earnings on Exxon, if you look at the yearly, 2025 just barely missed the expectations. 2024 just barely beat the expectations, and 2023 beat expectations also. So for Exxon, to summarize, it beat it the last 3 years except for 2025, where it just barely missed the earnings expectations. Now, how does it compare with the profits and income? Well, profits and income, yeah, look at this. Again, just because the earnings are great doesn't mean the revenue and the profits are going to be great. So look behind me, all this red. So the last 3 years for Exxon, 2023, 2024, and 2025, no profit, no income, no revenue, except for 2024, they had a positive total revenue. That was it, no other positive numbers. So 2025 had the 12-day war, maybe they've had to mention 2025. So a more prolonged period of conflict makes the point. Okay, maybe my history is a little bit off. Defeat elites. Tell me about what was the 12-day war in 2025? Right now I'm referring to the third week of the war in the Middle East. What was the 12-day thing in 2025? Yeah, to answer your question, part of the reason why right now the oil price is going up is because the war is in the Middle East, where 20-25% of the oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz, and if the Strait of Hormuz is shut down, we can't get the oil out of there. So that's one of the problems right now. Basically, the Strait of Hormuz is pretty much closed down, and the war is right there in Iran. So there's that. If anybody else has any thoughts on that, feel free to share. But yeah, that was Exxon and Chevron. Now, here's another one we should go to. Talk about this one. NVIDIA. NVIDIA just got done, or is having their annual event, and their CEO, Mr. Huang, unveiled a new products predicting its AI processors would generate, here it is, $1 trillion, that's a T, $1 trillion in sales through 2027. Yeah, wow. And they're pushing deeper into CPUs, and it's developing chips for data centers in outer space. Yes, you heard right. It's developing chips for data centers in outer space. And he says that computing demand has increased by 1 million times, and it is partnering also with Uber technology to have a fleet of autonomous vehicles by 2028. It's also uses the technology from Grok for some of its semiconductors. So yeah, they're all kind of intertwined. It's looking pretty interesting. So let's take a look at NVIDIA again. This is some of the announcements from their annual forecast. NVIDIA. Let's go to the one-day chart for NVIDIA. NVIDIA here. Okay. Okay, so here's the one-day chart for NVIDIA. I want you to notice that right here, 49, look at the RSI right behind me. It's at 49, so it's very, very neutral. And when you see this, again, look right here, you see the RSI very, very neutral, staying in the 45 to 55 range right there. So here, NVIDIA, you see a lot of the same thing in the price chart right there. There, how it correlates with the RSI and the price chart. That's what you call the consolidation, continuation. You see the invisible ceiling, the invisible floor, You can call it resistance, call it support, call it what you want. There it is. James Mason, hello to you too, and thank you for the likes. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Let's see, defeat elites, spell checks, shut down. 2025 must have made less sure info for maybe 2026 is just more absolute in regards to supply. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, maybe 2026 is more absolute in regards to supply, surely. Yeah, perhaps. I'm just not, or at the moment, I can't remember what the 12-day war was in 2025, that's all. But again, defeat elites, I appreciate the comment and the information. Let's see. Recently graduated college with Bachelor of Maps, monitoring maps. What are your thoughts on maps? Have you ever read the book of? Actually, GS Buns. That's an interesting comment. I could go down the rabbit hole into this topic, but I'm curious to know what some of the things that you learned in your Bachelor of Maps. Like, did you find any maps that were interesting as far as like things you never knew about, things you never heard about, or things that show the world in a different way? Or tell me kind of what you, it's like, because I'm very open-minded to how, like, the world may have been, or a world may have changed in terms of shapes and maps and stuff. Sometimes I deep dive into lots of other I listen to many podcasts and stuff, and I'm open to hearing all these different ideas and theories about how the world might have looked in the past. I've never read the book, The Forbidden Map, but I'm surely open-minded to probably hearing what you say about it, because it's something I'm interested in. So go ahead. Actually very interested. Let's see. Okay, so here you have a consolidation, and then let me show you this. You can also see right here how this how the RSI right here and the price chart correlate. You see how it goes overbought right there. And then I want to show you how again, some of these price charts, you can see them break out. Right here, there's the head, there's the left shoulder, here's the right shoulder, but it doesn't break out. See what I'm saying? Head, left shoulder, right shoulder, but it doesn't break out. And then that's NVDA, in case you're watching from home and just jumped on the channel. This is NVDA. We talked about some of the headlines for NVIDIA, and resets. I could watch those clips all day long. Yeah, defeat elites. Tell me more about the resets. What do you mean? And which clips are you referring to? Are you referring to certain maps about Antarctica, or certain maps about different? Tell me what you're referring to about the clips. So okay, here's NVIDIA. Here's the chart patterns. Okay, right here you have double tops, and the double tops here get corrected by the double bottoms right here. That often happens. Sometimes you'll have the head and shoulders get corrected by the reverse head and shoulders. Here you have the double tops being corrected by the double bottoms. That happens a lot. And then let me bring these down and over here. This is the 1 day time chart, and this is NVIDIA. Let me see if I can get you anything. So for example, right here, since the RSI is sitting very, very neutrally at 51, you're going to continue to see probably a very neutral price chart there. Now, as the price chart changes, RSI will change, or both. And but this is kind of based on the history. It's kind of more of the indicator, as you will. So let me see if I can get you a couple other charts. Okay, here's one. If you zoom out, you'll kind of see this one right here. Here's your head right here. Here's your left shoulder. Here's your right shoulder. Here's there's your neckline, head, left shoulder, right shoulder, neckline, bang, and then it does go down, but then it gets reversed right here. So again, this is kind of an interesting chart pattern. So let's go on here to the earnings side, for example. Also, I want to point out to you right here, there's not much price action. There's also not much trading volume going on here. So, for example, right now the volume is only at 217 million. Market cap is at 4.4 trillion. And right here, looking at quarterly, right here behind me, you'll see how the blue the blue is definitely higher than the gray. So the blue is what was actually the actual earnings for those quarters. So the last 3 quarters, the actual earnings beat the forecast. And let's see how it looks for the annual. The annual part for the last 3 years, 2025, 2024, and 2023. All 3 years, the actual earnings for the year beat the forecast. So there's that. And then, okay, and again, like I said, just because you have good earnings doesn't mean you have good profits and revenues and income. But let's see how it goes. Annual, okay. On NVIDIA, actually, they had good earnings. And in this case, they have good revenues and profits and income, okay? Doesn't always happen that way. But looking back behind me, all the green for 2023, 2024, and 2025, all the green, yeah, all the revenue, profit, income, net income, it's all green. So that's NVIDIA. Another thing that we'll look at real quick is Apple. Why are we taking a look at Apple? Because Apple is also in the news because they just acquired this video editing company, Motion VFX, to boost some of their subscribers. This acquisition will help the iPhone maker attract more subscribers to its recently announced Creator Studio bundle. This Polish startup has tools that work with Apple's Final Cut Pro editing suite. Okay, so for example, if you're wondering what is Motion VFX, Motion VFX is a leading developer of professional grade visual effects, okay, plugins and motion graphics templates for video editing software, primarily Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, and Premiere Pro. They offer cinematic elements like transitions, titles, 3D models, which were recently acquired by Apple to enhance creative tools. Yes, so there's a little bit about this VFX. Now going here, yeah, actually Motion VFX was founded in 2009 and offers packages starting at $29 a month for editing inside Final Cut Pro. Interesting. So let's take a look at Apple, okay? Let's do Apple on the 1-day chart right here. Okay, so here's Apple. Okay. Okay, Apple. The first thing I notice right now is their RSI is still sitting here at 37, 38 right there. That's the RSI. And as you notice, it's been kind of volatile lately. Recently, it went all the way down to 18 before ever coming back up. Went all the way up to 70 before correcting and coming back down. And you'll see that right here in the price chart. It went all the way down here and then jumped all the way back up. And one thing I noticed right here in this price chart is this market correction happened in the pattern of here's your head, here's your left shoulder, here's your right shoulder, here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then there's your neckline, and bang, it goes up. Yes. I think I have a bunch of this. Sites. How are you? I think I had a bunch of this fella. I'm not sure what that means, but anyway, hope you're enjoying the channel. Keep enjoying, man. And let's see. What was I gonna say? This guy. Oh, for example, here's your reverse head and shoulders, and then up here, you'll see again a lot of times the double tops and double bottoms balances other out. A lot of times the head and shoulders and the reverse head and shoulders do the same thing. Here's your head, left shoulder, right shoulder, head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then it goes down like it's supposed to, and then it reverses with the reverse head and shoulders. Yes, interesting how that goes. And some charts have more head and shoulders, some charts have more double tops. They're all just different like that. And there's really not a lot of rhyme or reason. Here's for example, where is it? Oh, again, there's a lot of head and shoulders here. You can see here's another head, left, right. Here's your head, left, right, right there. And then right here, it does drop down a little bit, but not much breakout, okay? And then, welcome, welcome everyone who's joining to the channel where we talk about everything U.S. markets and U.S. headlines. We keep it fun, we try not to bore you to death. And right now we're talking about the chart patterns on Apple. They just acquired this VFX editor tool. So here we are talking about them. Here's your reverse, left, right, and then here's your neckline. And then you'll see right here, here's your uptick breakout right there, okay? Also here is your double bottom right there. As you see, double bottoms and then bang, this one does break out. And here is your breakout neckline for the double bottom right there. See where they meet in the middle? That's your neckline, and then bang. Sites, I'm glad you like it. Thank you very much. If there's a ticker that you want me to look at, let me know. Otherwise, just keep enjoying the show. Yeah. Tell me about, okay. TURB. What is TURB? Is that a ticker or what is that? Let me know, sites. TURB. Tell me, what is that? TURB. I got you. Turbo Energy. Sorry. I got you. Let's do that. Okay, Turbo Energy. Here we go. Okay, TURB. Turbo Energy on the 1-day time chart. Oh my God, hold on one second here. Let me adjust this. So this is a new one, right? Because, yeah, there's not much of a chart here. So it's a new, when did this start? Turbo Energy, hold on one second. God, this is a volatile chart. Hold on one second, I gotta change this. Yeah, this is this just recently, yeah, September 25th, right? This is a new one. So let me get the, hold on, let me get the information on this one. This looks interesting. The turbulence, I'm terrified. Turbo Energy, right? TURB is, you're talking about the TURB, the energy company, right? It's an energy, provides energy solutions that engages in developing, manufacturing, distributing of photovoltaic products. The company was founded on September 18th, 2013, and it's headquartered in Spain. I think that's what you're talking about, right? Well, anyway, this is Turbo Energy, TURB, ticker symbol TURB. If this is, if we're talking about the same thing, I'm not sure. But yeah, just to give you, I guess, a brief update about this. Here you are. Okay, man, this is it. Okay, so right now it's sitting at 3.39, and there's a lot of trade volume going on. And look at this RSI. It spiked up to about 88 before it came down here to 60. Yeah, there's not even any fundamentals on it right now. What I can tell you though, the volume right now is at 5 million. Market cap is at 39.5 million. So there's that. Sites, I hope you're not terrified. Let's see. Anybody else has a ticker? What were we looking at? We were looking at Apple, right? But there's that. Hopefully that was helpful, interesting. Let's go here to Apple. We talked about the charts. Now let's go to Apple's. I think we were talking about the earnings. Yeah, earnings wise, Apple's quarterly earnings, Q1, Q4, and let's see. Okay, yeah. Q1 of 2026 surpassed expectations for a quarter. Same thing with Q4 and Q3, both beating the earnings expectations. Go to annual part for, I guess, I guess the wrong thing. Okay, sorry, sites. What was it supposed to be? Or actually, I'll be coming on later. Just send me a message, or you can put it in the comments there of what the right ticker symbol is. and I'll do it. I'll do it next time. I'll be on here later, and I'll see you then. But for everyone who gave a at Benny Christmas laughing. Okay, I'm glad you're enjoying the show, Benny Christmas. Chris Man. I'll see you guys later. Yeah.